And stand by screen.
One of my done masters on it's another tabletop. They genuinely have colouring pages for us before we start.
That's amazing.
Lyric, I sent you a message.
I've got it. I'm just having a look through.
Let's see. I just bought myself a new mouse. It just came in today, and I want to test out the DPI. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna test out the DPI. Should be funny.
We're on the standby screen, Lurk, so...
Okay, this is 20,000 DPI.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, I can't... Jesus! I can't control it!
Oh dear.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Ready.
I'm ready. Someone was not.
Fantastic. That's okay. EVs, let me know what's going on. So, welcome everyone. I am very pleased to be back in DMing for Fate of the Dice again. So if you haven't seen me, my name is Lyric. I've DM'd a couple of times here before, and I have some wonderful players with me tonight. I'm gonna go through a list, but could I ask people to introduce themselves, their character, their character's race, and their colour of magic? So, we're gonna start with Nikki. Could you start, please?
Hi, I'm playing Lyra. She's a merfolk, and she's a sorcerer, and I need to look at my notes for the colour of magic. She uses pink magic.
Okay, gonna go to the top of my screen. I think it's Lewis.
Hey guys, Lewis, or Frozen, pick whatever. I'll be playing Balak, the ghost, who uses yellow magic and sometimes regrets using yellow magic.
Okay, and finally on my list, Eileen, could you introduce yourself, please?
My name's Eileen, and I'm playing, I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like a cat to me, called Flame. And I'm not sure what colour magic I'm using. I'm a bit new to this.
It's alright. I think we're all a bit new to this, because some of you will have picked up, that's not normal D&D stuff. And you are very right. Nikki and the Fate of the Dice guys have been wonderful, and they are allowing me to try out some new things on our unsuspecting players. So we're going to be playtesting some newfangled races and magic effects based on a book series I co-wrote called Dearthair. I have to say, before I continue, I can only apologise if you're listening and you are Irish. These are the closest pronunciations that we were able to find when writing these things, and I am but a poor dyslexic. So there are going to be some weird sounding words. Things are going to get a little bit confusing. Stick with us. We'll get through us together. So.
Pray for us.
I need some inspiration from people in the chat. So, beginning our adventure far away from lands that you're used to, diving between the pages of a book, letters swirl, worlds form, words make shapes, and shapes make land, sea, and sky. Welcome to Dearthair. In some time, a motley crew called the Anti-Tepid Revolution stopped the world from drowning under a never-ending rain. Things have been quiet. It's really good, because when you've had to deal with a witch burning most of the land you use for crops, war, a second war nearly happening, one of the main deities being MIA for a while, and more, people just not, time to breathe. Continent where our story is taking place. 8L, the little continent we're going to be taking most of our time on, is made up of 5 areas. We have the Outlands, which are the areas cartographers really just haven't gotten to yet. We've got the Glass Mountains, which is the birthplace of magic and where a lot of goods are made. And the Plains, which are most of the arable land, the aforementioned area that got severely burned. Fealdnor, a tiny little green splodge of a forest where the anti-Tepid revolution come from, and Nausea, the seaside capital of the continent, ruled by one Prince Tepid. Beyond Nausea is the sea, where mermaids and horrors of the deep live. Snow-Emma, the frozen land, ruled by snowmen. The Aral Isles, which is Nausea's closest trading partner. Tenga Sharu, the island of the Wind Lords, and the Archipelago, the land furthest out from the continent. Coming back to where we began, things have been quiet. Too quiet. And then all at once it got very loud again. The ATR have lost one of their members, a little Miss Annie, who's the witch in training. They've looked all over. They've looked at every house and under every tree, and they just can't find her. It's gotten to the point where Nausea's now looking for her. And Prince Tepid has made a decree to all the lands. If you come here and find Annie alive, he will grant you a boon. We go now under the waves into the deep sea to the land of the merfolk. Even they have been known to go up onto the island and live amongst people incognito and pass some messages back home about kind of what's going on up there. It seems news of Annie's disappearance has even gone below the waves. Lyra, it's the day that you're due to go and land. What are you doing as we speak?
I guess I'll just brush my hair and get all my gear together, then head up to the surface, or before Mother can catch me going up there.
As you race past and head towards the area where it's well known that you can kind of scramble up the rocks to get onto Nausean soil, you see sort of several people know you're kind of going, so you have some general waves goodbye, some people not quite sure what's happening and just sort of being very pleasant to you. As you race on up, we're going to go Nausea, the busy, crowded streets, and we're going to head all the way to the mountains. Balak, at this time, what are you doing to get ready to go to Nausea?
Well, he's just making sure that he's got literally just his wand and his harness. That's about it. And he's probably just going to head off. It's simple as.
Okay. We go down the mountains across the plains and into Fealdnor. Flame, things have been a bit chaotic in Fealdnor, as they kind of tend to be when something goes wrong. Most people are trying to just get on with life and trying to just like live here, look after themselves and their families, but ATR kind of make that hard. Is there anything you do before you are heading off to Prince Tepid's castle?
Grooming. I would say.
Oh, sorry?
Grooming. Like how to wash.
Ah, with you.
I'm technically a cat, so I'll need to groom.
That's true. Okay. As we start to all people start to slowly make their way towards Nausea, I'm going to bring up Nausea's map quickly. Nausea, the capital city of the continent, is also the busiest place. It is full of tiny streets. The streets that are on the map just know they spider off into tiny alleyways between houses. There are some where it's like you have to breathe in to squidge past and get through. And it's full of people trying to sell you wares. It's full of people sort of down by the docks who are currently fishing or currently trying to... there are rope makers, there are sack makers. As you all kind of start to enter the city, having a look around, is there anywhere that any of you want to go before you go to the castle, or are you heading straight there?
Valek's just heading straight there. He has nothing else to do.
I think I'll also head straight to the castle.
Okay. I'm just going to chuck the nausea music on because I forgot to do that. Make your way up to the castle. You can see quite a few people have gotten kind of the same idea. Like, Nausea is a busy place and sort of very tightly packed anyway. Busier when Prince Tepid does something like this and everyone's now got to go to the castle and everyone's got to do the thing. As you all kind of make your way up through, you can hear several... It looks like they've gotten a couple of extra members of staff to help, like, shepherd people into the correct place. Could everyone let me know what their passive perception is quickly?
You mean, like, wisdom? In that case, it's 13.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's just 10.
What was that, sorry? Passive perception.
Could you... Yeah.
Uh, 13.
Cool. You all notice as you're going up, sort of the extra people, you'll notice that one of them's like really very out of place there. He looks Feld Notion because he's got a long white and black tail, a big red jumper, he's massive eyebrows, hair pulled back. He is very nervous and like, you can, as you go past him, you can barely hear him, let alone everyone else who's making all this noise. Balak and Flame, as you go on through, you also notice some of the people that going in like near you. One of them seems to be a plains person. One of them looks very out of place. He's in like this big white coat. And there's someone sort of almost skipping along who's got long blonde hair. No one seems to be particularly in a rush, but because of just the number of people, there's a lot of shouting as you head into the main hall area. As you get in and you're kind of shepherded in, the main hall, it's this big open hall. There's the throne at the front. Looking around in the archways, there are fish that sort of like live in these glass orbs in the archways that have little pathways that they can swim around and move between the different arch bubbles and that sort of a thing. If it wasn't obvious already, Nausea is very into the fish theme. As you kind of get shepherded in and sort of squidged in the throngs of people, there's no one sat on the throne at the moment. Balak, you're kind of okay because as a ghost, you don't touch anything, you don't need to do anything really. You can kind of just like be in people's way and people won't really feel or notice you, but you know that a couple of Nauseans are kind of weirded out by ghosts. As you kind of start to get into place though, is there anything that anyone would like to do whilst you seem to be waiting on the prince?
Is there like a? I know like internal castles tend to have like pillars and all that. Do any of the pillars have like a place where I can sit on?
As you look around, most of the pillars again seem to have these sort of fishbowl things. There's one that's big enough that you reckon you could just about perch yourself on it and have a bit of height to see things better.
Yeah, Balaka, do go there.
Okay. After a little while, the person that you clocked that was like very uncomfortable looking in this jumper goes up to the front and seems to be trying to get like people to like stop talking and be quiet, but he is so nervous himself that it's doing next to nothing. So in the end, like after he's tried for like a good minute, a woman with like big purple hair walks up to the front. Could everyone give me a history roll, please?
Yeah, 16.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Aim, you would know this to be Morphea. You know that she's currently engaged to the prince, and she's known for being kind of scary. Balak, you know, again, this Morphea engaged. Not only is she known for being scary, you know that there are kind of rumors that floated around that she was hired muscle or a mercenary at one point, which is someone who's Nausian. That is very weird. The Nausians really don't like, they're prim and proper ladies, and this is none of the above, basically. Lyra, you know that not only is this person those things, she's a purple magic user, which means she's kind of aligned with the element of wind. You also know that she's not, in fact, from Nausea. The little things you've managed to hear from the sea. You know this person actually came from Tenga Sharu. It's just one of those little facts that doesn't get out very often, which explains a lot of her being kind of scary. When you come from Tenga Sharu, the place that's all wind all the time, you need to make yourself heard, otherwise it's never going to happen. She kind of grabs everyone's attention, sort of big clap of the hands. She says, His Highness the Prince will be here soon. You can all calm down now. Everyone give me a quick perception check. Lyra, you're still kind of taking in surroundings. It's a little bit weird to be on land right now. And it's also kind of weird to see these fish for you. You're used to seeing them free and underwater, and they are in weird glass bubbles.
I take offense to this.
Understandably so, honestly. Alec, you take note that the people that you saw before now get a bit of a better look at them, especially when you're like on this orb thing. The plains person, he's kind of shuffling around a little bit. He seems like another nervous type, but still being here for whatever he wants his boon to be. You also get a look at the person in the white coat you saw before. He seems to be what's called a scientist, so he's sort of fiddling around with some things. He's taking a couple of notes, but keeping very much back to the side. Flame, you noticed all this, and you also noticed that the person who'd been skipping before, she looks She's a little bit of an odd sight because she's clearly got the features of someone from the mountains. Typically, from people from the mountains either have magic coloured hair or they have auburn hair. She is fully blonde, which is weird, very weird in its own space. You also notice that she's got pink stones around one of her wrists and one of her ankles. And with that natural 20, you notice that these aren't normal, like, quartz or anything. These are magic stones, which means they grant her extra magical power. You also manage to catch a glimpse of her eye color, and the middle of her eyes is pink, which indicates that she's a strong pink magic user. But the outside of her eyes are grey, which is weird. When you've got eyes that deal with your magic, they're usually fully one color. Two colors is not a normal sort of deal with these magics. People start to calm down a little bit. You hear people just starting to settle. Morphea takes a stand next to the throne. She very pointedly does not sit in it. And the very nervous person from before sort of goes to stand next to her, but does that thing where he takes a step backwards and a slight shuffle in, so he's actually slightly behind her, very nervously fidgeting. As you're waiting a little bit more, eventually you hear, "Did somebody call for me?" Somehow some magic like darkens most of the room except for around the throne. And the prince very much just jumps in the throne, legs on one of the armrests, and he goes, "Thank you all for waiting. It's been lovely to hear. There are so many visitors willing to help with our cause." No roles necessary. This man is Prince Tepid. He's got bright ginger hair, orange eyes, and he has got far too much energy for what is going on. He sort of lounges there, which is not the vibe of the meeting that's going on. And he says, "Welcome, all of you. It's wonderful to see you here. As you all know, we have had a little bit of a whoops and have misplaced a person. We need your help to find her. Now, as with anything with the anti-me revolution, there is going to be some danger." You all notice that several people kind of make a noise that they, for some reason, weren't expecting danger. Then he goes, "And you may have to travel a long way." Several more people kind of make disapproving noises. And he says, "If you're really going to complain so much, you might as well leave." And you see a good third of the people, before he's even gotten halfway through his speech, exit the room. He twists now, so he's facing forward a little bit more serious, and he says, "Look, I'm very grateful that you're all here. You should really make sure that you all understand what's going on. So, no, the small child is missing, blonde pigtails, cute dresses, little witch's hat, pink magic. We need people to look for her. I don't know, honestly, any of you. I'm very glad that not many of my counselors are here, because nothing would ever happen. I guess we should get on to the matter of the boon. He kind of pulls a face of, like, he wants someone to start talking for him because he's the prince and he's talked for 5 minutes. Morphea just sort of clasps her hand to her face and points to Balak and goes, "You start. What do you want?"
Meow. That's what he says.
It kind of looks at Tepid goes, "I can give you fish. That's very easy for me."
He kind of just like he kind of just like looks down, just like he just like locks like something on his shoulders, like, I apologize. Mainly the ability to return to my normal form, if possible. You can see that I am not exactly normal anymore.
The prince nods and says, I used to have a friend like you. I'm sure we can find out who made him whole again. But I wouldn't say that's easy, but that's good enough.
I just like
Yeah,
lifted an eyebrow to that.
give me a quick insight check.
Not me. Lovely. There you go, 15.
You know that he's saying that that's very easy. What you have asked for is not easy. Making a ghost not a ghost anymore has happened exactly once in the history of this continent. He has just agreed to something that I don't think you're convinced he can really commit to, but he's agreed.
Meow.
Prince turns to looks at Lyra and goes, "You, what do you want?"
Although my mother disagrees with this, I wish for like a peaceful society between land and sea with merfolk.
Mutterings kind of go out throughout the room as people realize, oh, this is a mermaid talking. Oh gosh, there's a mermaid. And you, give me another perception check quickly.
Eesh.
Ooh. Yeah. People are kind of muttering about that wild statement. It just says, "Oh, I'm sure if we got your mother up here, we could sort something out. I mean, we have a very peaceful relationship with the rest of our neighbors." Give me an insight check, Lyra, on that statement he just made. Oh, I love it. You can tell not only by and what you've heard about how he's looking right now. This man cannot guarantee that and is kind of lying. Whilst Feldnor used to be under Nausian rule and now isn't, they are okay. Like, it's purely because the ATR and Tepid get along as friendly individuals that things have not progressed to be worse. Mountains are okay with Nausea. The plains are okay with Nausea. Aralisle, great with Nausea. Schnoemmer and Nausea are on tenterhooks with each other, and every sort of couple years or so, there's like the false start of a war, and then it's very rapidly brought back in. Whilst he truly does believe that if you got your mother up here and you talked things through, it could work. Him saying that he has very peaceful relations with everyone, lying. This man knows that peace, kind of, very peaceful, no. Okay. So he nods and he sort of looks around the room trying to find someone else and sees Flame, and having interacted with Balak, who also looks like a cat, goes, you, what is it you wish?
I wish for world domination.
Room goes silent, and no, I don't think anyone was quite expecting that from you. He just goes, I mean, I could give you some land. That would be a good start.
Well, I have slaves.
He pulls that sort of face sort of like, I mean, I guess I can get you some hired hands. I don't know if we'd call them slaves, but I can get you some people to do things for you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Excellent. Now, slightly off kilter, he turns to the person in the white coat and goes, "You, sir, what is it you would like?" He takes some steps forward and goes, "It's now very obvious that he's stepped forward and you can all see him that this man is a Nausian. So he's from the local area. He does the very deep bow that sort of flips his coat into the rest of the crowd, quite honestly. And he goes, "My good Prince Tepid, as you know, we have been making great strides towards our goals and our thinkings with our lab on not a real street. That's not a real street." And he sort of goes into himself, mumbling, as he talks about the street that is spelt Knotareel Street. Before going, "Anyway, our laboratory blew up yesterday and we really need the funding to get things going again. But as you know, the councillors take 8 business days to decide who's going to be the scribe for the meeting. So we really could use those things fast so we can get back to science." Everyone make a quick insight check on both the man and Tepid.
I'm back.
One in. There we go. Waiting on insight from Lyra.
Insight.
Okay. Lyra and Balak, you both know that what this guy's saying is true. It genuinely has previously taken the councillors, who are basically the government of Nausea, 8 full working days to work out who's going to take notes for their meeting. So it's not particularly unsurprising that he would go over their heads. Flame, you can tell that Tepid's, like, he's listening to this. This is something that is definitely within realm of what he can do. He is thoroughly unimpressed right now and kind of not particularly wanting to do this, but he knows it would seem weird if he didn't do this. After a couple of seconds, he kind of nods and says, "Yes, this is a thing I can do. You will have the funding to make a new building, I guess. Oh, does anyone have anything more interesting to ask for?" The plains person sort of stumbles forward and says, "Prince Tepid, I am requesting that my son see the royal doctor. He is not well, and we can make herbs for the medicine on the plane. None of us in my group are actually doctors, and I think he needs someone." And Tepid kind of holds up his hand and says, Yes, I can do that. That is within my power. Anyone else?" Last person, that person with blonde hair with the little witch's hat, she steps forward and says, "I would like an invitation to your wedding." Everyone make an insight check. This person.
Oh no.
Oh my lord!
Oh no! You go from a nat 20 to a nat 1. Oh dear. Well. Lyra, there's nothing wrong with what's going on here. You know that, I mean, Tepid had asked for an interesting request, and this is kind of a weird request. Because whilst Orphea and Tepid are currently engaged, they've got a rough date of wedding in mind. They've not made, like, big plans, and in Nausea, because everything has to be grand, and it's going to take, like, a full month to get from one end of the aisle to the other sort of thing. This is a bit of an odd request. Alec, you sense that this person knows Tepid. Tepid's fully banking, but kind of aware he knows them. It's like, yes, that can be done. Yes, that can be done. Okay then, I will let and he claps the Feld Notion on the back. My dear good friend, take you through the details. I'm off for a very important meeting with my masseuse. Toodaloo! And he's out the door before anyone can kind of say anything to him. Feld Notion has the papers in hand to explain kind of what's going on. Coming across very nervous as per usual. Morphea steps in and says, Mrs. Eldred, he'll be looking after you and take you through the details. He knows the ATR. We'll be in good hands with him. I need to make sure Tepid doesn't break anything, and leaves this poor Feld Notion at the front. He takes a second to try and compose himself before going into... Yes, we've looked for Annie in most of Feldnor. There are two places that we are having some trouble exploring at the moment. We're having trouble with the outer lands, the area kind of behind the Glass Mountains. We haven't been able to get around the mountains to go to take a look. You've done some healing.
It was an accident, sorry.
That's all right. He says the other place is funnily enough near Feldnor. We are having trouble getting into the fens at the moment. It's a fen behind Feldnor. They are not being, let's say, agreeable with us, and they are not allowing us to go through. They seem kind of angry, honestly. My brother and the ATR can help you out with that stuff of things. Any questions?
Why are you such a coward?
You see him kind of shrink down and go, I'm not. I did fight in the war. I'm just not good at public speaking.
Yeah.
Anything else? If not, you are free to make preparations. I will be around for any questions. He just sort of jazz hands. Okay. So you have two places where Annie could be. You now have time to prepare. It doesn't look like Tepid himself is going to go anywhere. As he said, he is off for a very important meeting with his masseuse. So is there anything that anyone would like to do before things start to get going, really?
Not really.
I'm too poor to go shopping, so I have to do something else.
That's fair. As the day kind of goes on, the scientist exits. He's one of the first to exit. He makes some excuse about going back to a lab, something about pink dust everywhere. He's not really forthcoming with the details, but he exits rather quickly. Strange kind of witchy person. She's honestly just sat down in the Great Hall, hasn't really moved for a while, and just been kind of doing like playing with like the pink magic that she has in her hands. Very nervous plains person. He's been trying to see if there's a way to get see the doctor first and then go and find Annie, and it's been in a lot of conversation with some of the stewards that are around the place. As time kind of goes on, you are all shepherded into areas to sleep for the night. Balak, they haven't put anywhere out for you because they're like, you're a ghost. You just kind of go wherever. And for Flame, they've made up a little cat bed ready for you. As you all start to drift off to sleep, I should probably double check first. Balak, you don't need to sleep. Is there anything that you're wanting to do overnight?
Mainly just prowl around the grounds and see if I can overhear anything interesting.
Okay. Give me a perception check, unless there's anything you think you'd rather roll as like something specific you're looking for.
Mainly conversation, so I guess perception would probably be it. I heard someone snore.
That's not too bad. Let me just check my list. Okay. You do... Most of it, you catch like half conversations between guards, mostly about which shift they're on. A couple of them are thinking of trading shifts. You do, as you're wandering through the castle, you find one area that it looks like a hallway that's kind of leading to a little alcove. With how a mirror is positioned, you can see into the alcove, and it's in there. You see Morphia and Tepid talking, and you just about catch the word Roisin, which is the name of the witch who burnt the plains, before Morphia has kind of moved Tepid out of that space.
Interesting. Better keep that name in mind.
I'm sorry?
So he was just saying he'd better keep that name in mind.
As you kind of circle back to, like, this is kind of getting on in the technically night, moving into morning. You hear a couple of people are sleep talking in this space. It's very odd that in basically 6 of you, there are 2 people sort of sleep talking at once. One of them is talking about strawberries, weird dream speak. And the scientist, he's doing a lot of mumbling about pink magic. Pink is coming up a lot for him. The 2 of you who are going to sleep, can I have wisdom saving throws, please?
I'm so happy I'm a ghost.
What was that again? Wisdom save.
Wisdom save, yeah.
Can I just get a quick confirmation before you continue? As a ghost, do I have to follow the laws of walls, so I can't just go through walls, but does that also apply to doors as well?
You can go through walls and doors. You don't have a physical body, so you can kind of pop your head through wherever, really.
Okay. Very useful.
Okay. Good, you both avoid that effect. So, Lyra, as you're kind of bedding down and getting ready to go to sleep, you start kind of going through the normal dream. It's all slightly weird dreams, but they are still dreams. Before you start having a dream of walking through somewhere, you don't particularly recognize it. It's odd looking. There's like, you're used to sort of underwater architecture. Everything's very natural. That it's coral, it's reefs, it's stone. These are very unnatural spaces you're walking through, almost liminal. And you see a little girl with pigtails in a little dress with the little witch's hat on, who's surrounded by other little girls who are just watching her play with magic. You just kind of hear them all mumbling, "Help us," before you kind of move out of that dream into sort of normal dreaming again. You have a dream. You're sort of walking through Feldnor. You're very used to Feldnor, as it's where you come from. Moving between the house trees. You're taking walks through someone's garden because, let's be honest, cats will walk where they want to walk. You find a patch of space that's between Feldnor and the plains. There's like a little area that's a little weird border bit. There's somebody sat in a patch of strawberry plants. It's a little girl, blonde bunches, dress hat, and she's talking with birds before she looks at you and you wake up. It is now morning. What would people like to do?
He's just gonna probably get on a roof and just watch everyone leave the area. Mainly looking out for like stuff about pink magic and strawberries because he's heard both of those. Plus maybe also about things about that. Was it Navida? Sorry, the person who burned the planes.
Machine.
Yeah.
I can spell that in the Discord chat for you.
Please do.
Where's she gone? Give me a perception check as you're looking around, just to see quickly what you see.
People.
Okay. I'll give you 2 things with that. Yes. The first thing is, like, even if you'd rolled anything above a nat 1, you would have noticed that near on the map, number 6, where you are, a lot of smoke still coming up. You catch that some of it has pink sparks going up in it, which is a bit weird because fire doesn't usually do pink, but here we are. You also notice that sort of like, and this is more interesting to you because you're a cat. There's a lot of birds about. So like near the sea, seagulls are a thing that are going to happen. You'd see like normally be around where the fishermen are and where the sailors are kind of hanging out because they bring in the fish. There is that cloud of seagulls that's harassing sailors. There's a few gulls spread out, but you, as you sit on the roof, have a handful of black birds around you that are not kind of normal to this area, as well as like some gulls that are normal to this area. There's just a weird amount of them right now.
Interesting.
Back in the sort of sleeping area, Lyra or Flame, is there anything you'd like to do?
Eat.
Right, you cut out slightly
Oh,
for
me.
me.
Uh,
it is an option just to go and like get some breakfast and that sort of thing. In the room next to you, you can hear that breakfast things are being laid out. It looks like very typical Nauseam breakfast, which is a lot of fish, but also like imported veggies and like baked bread things.
I think I'll just eat the veggie stuff because probably me eating fish would probably count as cannibalism.
Technically, yes.
I'll eat the fish because I don't like veggies.
As you start to eat, there's like very obviously a place that was set up for Tepid. He's just not arrived. And